Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 4. So just a couple of quick things before you jump into the rest of the video. I am hosting a stream this weekend with some other YouTubers, but I will talk about that towards the end of the video, so stick around until then to learn more about that. And also, I will be announcing the winner of the Funko Pop and Blu-ray giveaway that I started last week. So I will be announcing the winner of that towards the end of the video as well. So if you entered that, stick around until then to find out if you won. So one of the big things to happen early on in this season of The Flash, and to continue to play out throughout the season so far, is of course the incident that occurred when Barry escaped the Speed Force in the first episode of this season. That being the bus full of people that were hit from the direct dark matter from the Speed Force, who later on went on to get metahuman abilities. Over the first half of this season, we have met a few of these people that were affected, some more dangerous than others. We've met Ramsey Deacon, aka Kilgore, Becky Sharp, aka Hazard, Mina Chayton, aka Black Bison, Dominic Lance, aka Brainstorm, and who is now the body that Clifford DeVoe now uses. We also have the Weeper, who hasn't been named on the show, and then of course we have our good old friend Ralph Dibny as another member of the public that was on board the bus when Barry escaped the Speed Force. Now, we do know of one more metahuman that was created on that bus due to casting information that went around towards the end of last year, and that is Fallout, otherwise known as Neil Borman. To sum it up, he has like a large amount of radiation within his system that could cause like a nuclear explosion, easily destroying Central City. So yeah, good luck handling that, Team Flash. In regards to when we're going to see him, no idea, but it should be in like the first couple of episodes when we return, because his casting information came out at the same time that Dominic Lance's did, so they would have been casting both characters around the same time, so we'd expect him to show up in the first, handful of episodes when we return. But one of the most popular theories going around due to the whole bus full of metahumans thing is that Godspeed could have been one of the people aboard the bus when it was struck. We know there are still around 5 or so people to meet that we have yet to meet that were on the bus at the time, so it is theoretically possible that Godspeed could have been one of these people. Just to make it clear to everyone, I'm not pushing this theory forward, I'm not gunning for this to be true, I'm simply going over the pros and cons of it. Breaking it down as we've done before. Seeing whether it is a worthy theory to even follow, just making that clear so I don't get attacked for making a quote-unquote stupid theory. But do let me know in the comments section down below the different evidence that you feel supports the Godspeed theory or goes against it. Just leave all of them in the comments section down below along with your general opinions. And also, if you're going to enjoy the video, it'd be awesome if you could leave a like on it to show your support. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. So I guess we should go over what evidence sort of supports the theory around Godspeed being one of the bus metahumans. In the most recent iteration of the Flash comics, that being Flash Rebirth, we saw in Volume 1 a new speedster by the name of Godspeed appear. It was revealed that Godspeed got his speedster powers from a Speed Force storm which had occurred earlier on during the events of that comic book arc, with many others in Central City also getting speedster abilities. We did see that storm at the end of Season 3 occur when the Speed Force was sort of going like bananas. So possibly he could have got them at that point, but there is still the chance that he has just, got them on that bus and just got them then. In regards to that Speed Force storm, a lot of people have brought it up. I have no idea when they're going to reference back to it, if they even will. If they do bring Godspeed in, it would have made sense if they did it with the Speed Force storm, but due to the fact that they haven't really, hinted back to it at all, there seems to have been no effect from it. I don't think we're going to go back to it at all. It's almost like they've just forgotten about it. And it would make sense if he got them on that metahuman bus. He would have got direct dark matter from the Speed Force, so you would think at least one person on that bus would have got speedster abilities. This season on The Flash, they are sticking away from like too many speedsters being on the show, which is a smart move in my eyes. As we've seen with Wally West, hardly being in the season, Jesse Quick basically getting rejected, and Jay Garrick not even showing up at all. But introducing Godspeed could bring in the whole deadly approach that Godspeed did bring to the comics, as he would kill speedsters and take their speed. So even though it would be seen as harsh, they could possibly clean some of the show up in regards to its, too many speedsters problem. So we could see Jesse, Jay, or possibly even Wally become victims to Godspeed. For this to play out, he would have to show up right at the end of Season 4 this season and continue on to Season 5 as the main villain, as even though he could possibly be working for the Thinker, it would sort of be seen as a waste of a potentially really cool character if they were to waste him as like a minion for the Thinker rather than his own established character. Godspeed in the comics has the real life name of August Hart, who was actually a co-worker of Barry's. Now in the show they could easily go with this if they wanted to, but seeing as this is a pretty new story and character to the DC universe, I doubt you would get too many people getting triggered over changing his name. So that's what I think they should do if they did bring him into the show. Just have him be someone who is, relevant to the season, but don't call him August Hart so every man, woman, and child can pick who Godspeed is straight away, out of the gates when we commence his story. And as I just said, he is fairly new to the DC universe, and that is one of the cons against him possibly being introduced to the show. Is it too soon to introduce him? Godspeed didn't die in the comics. He is still alive and kicking. He's in prison, I'm pretty sure. There will most likely be more stories to tell with his character, so should they just let that happen before diving into his character on the show, and maybe just use a character with more history and more directions to take their story from the comics? Probably. Another thing that sort of goes against him coming to the show is his status. He isn't a villain, and he isn't good. He is like sort of in that middle grey area. Godspeed is seen as essentially like a vigilante, sort of like an anti-hero. He kills to get answers and seek justice. He has murdered innocents along the way though, but that still isn't, been seen as enough for him to be really classed as a villain. So if they wanted a truly evil villain and bad guy, they would sort of have to tweak Godspeed's story just a tiny bit, push him over the edge, make him a true villain. But that actually brings upon a possible pro for Godspeed coming to the show, and that is with that whole vigilante side of him. They could play out a really good storyline on the show. It would almost be like having Season 1 Oliver Queen from Arrow, but as a speedster. He kills to seek justice, but he is all doing it for the side of good. Well, at least he was when we were watching Season 1. That torture scene in Season 5 of Arrow sort of left a dark mark on those events. Anyway. And we have one more con, and that is the fact that the whole bus event happened quite a while ago, and if Godspeed were to have been created on it, shouldn't we have heard about another speedster in Central City, or at least some weird events that possibly hint towards one by now? It just seems weird. Unless he hasn't activated his powers yet, sort of like Jesse Quick when she went back to Earth 2 after having the incident on Earth 1, it took a while for them to activate, so maybe that's what Godspeed is experiencing. But overall, I don't mind the idea of Godspeed coming to the show and being introduced as a bus metahuman. I think it would be weird if not one speedster was created from that Speed Force dark matter, but then again I do find it weird that the event took place a while ago and there has been literally no evidence at all of another speedster around Central City or weird events happening that could be linked with one. So really, in regards to this theory, it's still possible that it's going to happen, but there is no major evidence that points towards it even possibly happening, which is a bit unfortunate. But seeing that Godspeed is a character from the comics, he's pretty trendy at the moment. A lot of people have talked about him, seeing as he was pretty recent in the comics, so he is sort of relevant, so it would make sense if they were to bring him on the show. But really at this point, all we can do is just watch and see what plays out with the rest of the bus metahumans. You never know, one of them might be revealed as August Hart, or one of them just might be revealed as a speedster, and you never know, Godspeed could be happening. But now let's move on to those topics I brought up at the end of the video that I said I was going to mention at the end of the video. The first one is about the stream. I'm hosting a stream this weekend between myself, DJ Eric or Eric's Reloaded, Boba Talks, and the DC TV show. They've all hosted a stream before. With all of us on there. Now it's my turn, so it's my turn to host. It'll be this weekend on the Saturday at 7 PM Greenwich Mean Time, which is London time, Saturday 2 PM New York time, Saturday 11 AM Los Angeles time, and it will be at 5 AM Sydney time, 6 AM Sydney time on Sunday. So if you're in Australia, base it off Sydney time on Sunday morning at 5 AM, or 6 AM might I say, 6 AM. So yeah, as I said, it's myself, I'm hosting it, and I have DJ Eric or Eric's Reloaded on here, the DC TV show, and Boba Talks as well. We'll be streaming for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it's necessary, I guess. And hopefully you all come around and join in on the fun. But now let's move on to the last thing, which is of course the giveaway. So this was for a Funko Pop or a Blu-ray of either a movie from the DC universe or a TV season, one of the two, whichever one you wanted, as well as the Funko Pop. And all you have to do is answer this question in the comments, which was your favorite DC TV moment so far this season. And the winner is The Dark Star Invades, who wrote this. So just send me a message on YouTube and we'll sort out your prize. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this theory. Do you want to see Godspeed on the show? Do you not? And why don't you want to see him, or why do you want to see him as well? Just leave your various opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.